Hey everyone, it's your girl Ayana. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I wanted to come to you today and have a candid conversation about my healing journey, which I think every video is candid, but get a little bit more intimate about one of my diagnoses and how I'm dealing with it today. So for me, I have suffered, and I think if I seriously sit back and think about this, I think I've struggled with anxiety even like 5, 6 years old. I've always been an anxious person. I don't know where I picked it up. I mean, I have some suspicions. I think some childhood experiences. I know. I just thought about like 30 in that quick 5 seconds, but definitely believe that this is something that I picked up in my childhood. I may have been, genetically wired for it because I do have a family history of anxiety. So it's probably a little bit of both. But I did not seek treatment until I was 18. I don't know if I shared this in a video or not before, but um, I remember I went off to school to be a psychology major, right? Funny thing is, most people who need healing, they go and do psychology major to try to heal themselves. And the campus that I went to, the school that I went to, they really focused on that was one of the major um, uh, uh, degree programs was psychology. So there was abundance of resources on this campus. And I remember during like orientation, they were like, well, we have this psychologist here and you're welcome to utilize her. And I don't remember if it was free or not. I did have insurance, so I don't remember the details. Anyways, I think like 2 days later, maybe even the next day, within a couple days, I had made an appointment with her because I knew I needed help. I knew I didn't feel my best and it didn't feel like it was natural to me, like what I was experiencing. But back to like young and being anxious. I can remember being as a kid always worrying and kind of always being afraid. And since to the I'm scared of my own shadow, but I was always afraid of there was noises, doors slamming. Um, Not only that, but just of what's going to happen. Like I was always worrying, and even at I remember at school, the weirdest thought just popped in my brain. But at school, being worried and anxious if people are going to like me, and always worrying about if my friends really like me, and are they going to be at school today? Am I going to have to sit by myself? Is the teacher going to be mad at me? Did I do everything? Like all of these things as a kid. This is what I'm going to, waking up and going to school with. Um, but I've always been an anxious worrier, stressing over everything. And I had a little bit of social anxiety. There's a lot going on, but I didn't understand it. It really, I thought it was just who I was. So 18, I start seeing a therapist for the first time, not consistently because I would start to feel better and then I would stop and I would start to feel better and I would stop. And so that cycle happened for a long time in my life. But um, nonetheless, the anxiety I think, is going to be with me forever. I just have to learn how to manage and treat it. There are always good and bad of everything. Like anxiety, there are more bad for me in my experience than good. Some of the goods are the worrying makes me, as an employee at work, I triple check my work. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist because I worry so much. Um, I am always worrying about how I treat people. Am I being inclusive? Am I being kind? what is the impression people are getting from me? So I'm always trying to um, be the best version of myself, and in some frame or way. Sometimes it could be to detriment to me, where I'm over people pleasing, but I'm always worried about how people perceive me, and not um, hurting people. And did I say that right? Um, did I communicate that to him without, making him feel less of a man? Or did I respond appropriately to my daughter without, making her feel like she's not heard? Like, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night with a million things. Did I do this right? Did I remember to do that? I got to do this. It's like a laundry list of worry all the time. And so when life gets a little difficult, that's when the anxiety really picks up. And I don't want to say difficult, maybe confusing. When I can't control, which I've learned that I have a control issue. I have to be in control. And when I don't, that aggravates, or it triggers my anxiety. So I'm learning to deal with letting go and not being in control. And it's hard when you have been your whole life trying to control things to avoid conflict, to avoid upsetting people, to avoid um, being not liked, or to avoid not causing people pain, like always trying to avoid at all costs, avoid everything. So it's been a struggle for me, and I have seasons where it's worse than others, my anxiety. I think right now I'm going through a season where my anxiety is pretty high. I found myself doing the worry. It's obsession. It's not worry. It's really obsessive compulsive disorder, where I will loop something a million times, a thought, a belief, a scenario, a situation. You have no idea how many times, like, if I feel like I didn't handle something right, I will for days obsess about it. What I said, how I feel, how they felt, what they were thinking. And to be honest, I don't even know what they were thinking, or I don't even know if they felt that way, the way that I have built up in my head. I don't know if that's authentic, or if it's something that I manufactured. So I do a lot of that, and then um, and it's unpleasant. If you can imagine reliving like an embarrassing moment over and over and over and over again in your head, waking you up at night all the time, that's what my worrying and my anxiety does to me. And how it impacts my life is, in a negative way, is it makes me insecure and not trust myself, because I'm always in a questioning myself instead of being confident and just moving forward and trusting, that I know what's best for myself. It makes me worry about the bad that may be coming, that hypothetically, could be happening in my life. There may not even be a clue of any bad coming, but I will manufacture it in my brain. And now I'm worried about that. And now I'm on edge about what bad is going to come. It keeps me from being present, because I'm always worried. And instead of enjoying life in the steps and milestones of life, I'm always worried. I'm constantly um, we're wondering how people feel about me. Do they really like me? Do they really think I'm smart? Do they think I'm pretty? I'm always, always, always worrying about the things that I think majority of the people don't even care about. Like, they're not even thinking about that. But I'll take on that responsibility and think about it for them. So it's very debilitating. It's exhausting physically and emotionally, where I am tired a lot. I don't sleep well, because I'm up running these thoughts and these scenarios. and these imaginative situations in my brain all day long. So I'm tired. Sometimes the anxiety gets bad and manifests as like I lose my appetite. So my weight goes up and down um, all the time, which I think this last year it's actually been pretty stable because I think the treatment that I've been experiencing has really helped me tackle some of the stressors that I had in my life, that I've had in my life. So that's been helpful. But normally I have like I keep 4 clothing sizes in my wardrobe because I could be 10, 15 pound difference in a month or two easily, easily. So yeah, it's pretty debilitating at times. Um, I have taken medicine. Right now I'm not. I definitely am not opposed to it, and I will continue to take medicine later on. I have learned so many tools, and I keep trying to learn more tools in addition to treatment to help um, combat this and to help, well, treat my anxiety. I have tools that I use to bring me back to a safe space emotionally, mentally. And that's journaling is a good one for me. Sometimes, even if I don't want to write it, I'll just get my voice recorder out and just talk it out, get it out of my brain and into the air. Helps. Physical activity helps me. If I sit down too long with the anxiety, I'll stay down. I will stay, it's kind of paralyzing. I will stay in that loop. So getting physical, like exercising or for me cleaning has been super helpful um, with restrictions because sometimes I used to be really bad about it, about cleaning, where I was always cleaning something, even stuff that didn't need to be clean. I was cleaning just obsessing over things. It was my anxiety was manifesting into obsessive compulsive disorder. So I have to be mindful and careful of that. But and then talking about it. I don't usually come to people when I'm feeling anxious. I usually internalize it, which is not healthy. So when I do have a safe space, I try to communicate how I'm feeling and talk it out with someone. Usually that works best for me is like I can talk enough in circles that I start to come to some logical space where I'm like, okay, this is not making sense. You are not having a healthy thought process. So you seeing how you're thinking? Like I can start to pull myself out of it if I have a sounding board to talk to. That's why treatment is so important. Like therapy sessions are so important for me. I can't afford to miss them because I need to get out a lot of my experiences because I'm just one of those people. I internalize everything. It's just more natural to me versus coming and speaking to people. So when I do get an opportunity, that really is very, very therapeutic and healthy for me to share um, my experiences. So it's tough, and for anybody who is experiencing it, anxiety is going to be different for everybody. That's kind of what it looks like for me. I do get panic attacks. I don't get them very often anymore. I used to when I was in a previous relationship. I used to get them all the time. Now my panic attacks are a little bit different, or they show differently. Like I can go weeks without remembering anything because I'm just on autopilot because I'm so up, and I can. There have been times I've driven home and not remember how I got home, and just I'm at home. Like I was not even present in my body to be safe. like, driving 20 miles on the highway, getting off and doing all the lights and stuff like that, or said like not eating it or being very short tempered. Um, it just, and then these are all on top of each other, like they're all happening simultaneously. So um, they can be really scary because I feel like I am out of sorts with myself. I'm not myself, and I see it's like an outer body experience. I see myself losing control and falling apart, so to say, and that scares me, and it causes great panic, losing the control of myself. So, and my mental health. So yeah, so that is a little bit of my healing journey. I can't stress enough, if you are experiencing um, anxiety, no matter what level it is find treatment, whether it is seeing a therapist, journaling, exercise. Find what works best for you, but keep it in your life and in your routine so that you can help keep your anxiety under control. It's unpleasant to always be worried. It's unpleasant to always be on edge. That's not how life is supposed to be. It's not how what you were ordained to be on this earth for. So treatment is super important. And if you need help and options, there are so many affordable, if not free, resources nowadays because mental health has really been um, pushed to the forefront, which it absolutely should be, but it really has been recently. So there are so many options out there. I can't stress enough how important it is to get treatment and to stay on top of your treatment, even when you're feeling better, to continue with the treatment. So I encourage you to do so. I want you to know you're not alone. Thank you for allowing me to share that with you, my struggles with anxiety. Uh, it's something that I know it's going to be a part of my life. It doesn't have to take over my life, but I know it will always be a part of my life. And I will continue to work hard to continue to treat it and to keep it under control. So I hope that helped. Like I said, thank you again for letting me share that with you. My experience is maybe different from yours, but we probably have very similar symptoms at some point, or we can still relate to each other even though our symptoms are not the same. I'd love to hear what you're doing to treat your anxiety, or if you have questions about treatment, or if you need help finding treatment. I definitely have no problem helping you do that. So hit me up in the comments so I can be a support for you. Also, please share, like, and subscribe, and I look forward to chatting with you again. But until then, be safe, be true, and be authentically you.